Welcome everyone to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudmire, and I am a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It is my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hey everybody, it's Anita with Better Love Movement, and I am back again this week, this month, this year. This is season 3 of the Better Love Movement podcast, and we are in March. So when I tell you I have taken a long break, and I am going to share with you kind of what was going on over those last 4 months. So my last episode was in December. I interviewed Coach D in December, and I also did kind of a ending the year episode in December. But it has been about 3.5 months, and we're in season 3. We are back, and I'm gonna share a little bit of what's been going on in my personal life, my professional life, what has kept me away from the podcast and some of my content creation. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit of a cautionary tale from my own personal experience. And I don't do this often. It's actually pretty rare. I do this with my coaching clients. So my coaching clients are actually pretty privy to a lot of things that are going on in my life, because I want them to feel like they're not alone. Like whatever they're going through, whatever their healing journey is, that they're not alone. That, I'm going through it. Other people are going through it. We're all going through it. And so I'm going to adjust my mic. Okay, I'm going to adjust my mic a little. My mic is up pretty high. And so here we are. We're in a new year, 2023. And I would love to report that things are better. But you know what? We're not going to focus on what we don't want. One of the things that I am learning how to do again in this year is to focus more on what I want. Let me put this down. Than what I don't want. And I'm going to take you along with me for that journey. That we have to focus our time and our attention and our energy and our effort on what we want, and a lot less on what we don't want. And so that has led me to distance myself from social media. That has led me to unfriend or unfollow people on social media. So I am very rarely on my personal social media. And in January, I went to my Facebook, my Instagram, and I began to unfollow people or accounts that just weren't positive. I either didn't personally know those people. They were people who had just requested friendship through Facebook or followed. But if I don't know you, if I haven't met you, if I haven't met you out, if we haven't met virtually, I don't tend to follow a lot of people. I don't follow very many people on my business account. And the idea of being friends virtually no longer does it for me. Like I am on a path, I'm on a journey of genuine, real connection. And so social media is just not going to do it. It's not going to do it anymore. I no longer want that false or fake sense of intimacy or false sense of friendship or liking. That's just not going to do it for me anymore. And so I have very much pulled away from that. And there are people on social media that, I'm friends with. They have my phone number. They can text me. They can call me. And I am doing more of that. And that is like taking them by surprise, that I reach out via phone call or text as opposed to responding to anything I might have glimpsed on social media. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. I've just made up my mind that from this day forward, from this period in my life forward, January, I turned 55, and I really reflected. And I said, you know what? I want genuine friends. I want genuine intimacy with people. I don't want to do the social media thing. I don't want to, have this fake emotional intimacy anymore. I don't want this surface or shallow intimacy anymore. And I'd rather have 2 or 3 truly intimate, deep, good, consistent friends than thousands of friends or thousands of followers on Facebook or Instagram. Like, I've finally come to that realization. And so January started kind of a journey for me of just doing some personal work that I'm doing with my therapist. You bet you didn't know that a therapist could have a therapist, but we do. And so actually this work started in December. I am going to be talking a little bit more about this on the podcast, but it's all about attachment style. And I discovered that I knew, when I was young, that my attachment style was anxious preoccupied. I've always known that. However, around 34, 35, I became more of a fearful avoidant attachment style. And so even most recently of taking the attachment style quiz, I have found out that I am still, somewhat fearful avoidant, or what they call deorganized attachment. And so I've been doing that work. I've been diving in with my therapist and doing that work. I've been reading, I've been watching videos and listening to podcasts, and doing that work to become more securely attached. Because one of the things that I've discovered personally is that depending on your attachment style, that will greatly depend on the type of people, friendships, intimate relationships, partners, that will depend on the type of people that you keep attracting. And so one thing I've known about me for a long time is my attraction to people who are emotionally unavailable. And I know that comes directly from the father wound, the abandonment wound that I have. I've always known that. I've done a lot of work around that wound, a lot of work, in and out of therapy since I was 23. And I feel like I've grown a lot. And my dad and I have a great relationship. I no longer chase him. That's what I would call it. Chase him or wait for him. I no longer do any of that. And we have a good relationship. And I'm at peace. I'm very much at peace with that relationship. Like, where we are now has given me a measure of peace. And so that's directly where the finding emotionally unavailable partners comes from. And so my nervous system lights up. I get butterflies and I get nervous, and, there's all this chemistry and sexual chemistry. And that should be the biggest red flag ever. And yet, I will push past that and I will say, no, there's something about this person that I need to get to know. There's something different about this person. When the truth is, that person is lighting up my nervous system, and it's going all the way back to my childhood wound, which is this person probably isn't going to show up for you. And so you need to leave it alone. I need you to be attracted to the person that you don't feel that immediate rush to right away, but it warms up over time. Over time, that person shows you who they are. They're consistent. They're there for you. They can show up emotionally and otherwise. Like, that's probably your person. And so in the last 7 months, I've been out dating, and I've been rotationally dating. And I talk to people about this all the time. You are, getting to know more than one person. You are talking on the phone, you're texting, you're FaceTiming, you're going out on dates. Maybe you're visiting their city, as I have done. But there is nothing sexually intimate about it. Like you're not, having sex. A lot of these men, I'm not kissing, we may hug, we may smile, we may look each other in the eyes. That's about it. And had been doing that for some time. I'd been doing that probably for over a year, just rotationally dating and meeting different men and, getting to know them and just figuring out, again, what I want, what I like. And that's one thing I love about rotational dating is your focus is not solely on one person. And you get all these experiences with all these different types of men. And I've always encouraged you all to do that. But if you could find at least 2 or 3 men that, want to take you out, they like you, okay, date all of them, get to know them. And yeah, I want you to compare and contrast. I want you to kind of pick out of them the things you like, the things you don't like, and then at some point you can make a decision. If one of them rises above the rest, that's the person, you can date exclusively. And so I had been doing that for some time, but I had been spending time with a particular gentleman that, again, lit up my nervous system. And that should have been a big sign. That should have been a big sign to me. And one of the other things I'm always telling my coaching clients and even my counseling clients when they're talking to me about relationships and healing and growth, I tell them, look, the work is never done. The work is never done. You will get triggered. I got triggered. I got triggered all over the place, and continue to be triggered. But here's the thing I want you to know, and this is the scariest part of all, is when we're ready to do our work, our internal work, the container in which you do it in is a relationship. Like you're only going to go so far in your work by yourself. You can only, sit at home, watching your shows, eating food and, playing with your dog or cat. You can only go so far in your healing journey or even going to therapy. How about that? Even if you're seeing a therapist, you can only go so far in your healing journey on your own. You must enter relationship, and that relationship could be friends. That relationship could be intimate relationships of the opposite sex. That relationship could be family members. But that's where the real work is. And I cannot stress that enough because we are disillusioned if we think that, I'm going to take my jacket off because it's getting warm in here. So excuse me. But we're delusioning ourselves if we think that, oh, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to date, or I'm not ready to have hard conversations with my family members, or I'm not ready to get out there and meet people as friends. You will not grow. You will not grow doing that. And I'm just being honest. You have to be amongst other people. And you have to be triggered. That's it. That's where the real work is. That's where you're going to make mistakes. That's where you're going to course correct. That's where you're going to apologize. That's where you're going to try something different. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try this. That's where the real work is, if I can be honest. And that's the work that I am in right now. So I was in this exclusive dating relationship. And unfortunately, that relationship did not last. It did not work out. After becoming exclusive, that person kind of started to pull away, kind of started to pull back. And, I started doing some reading and some research about dismissive avoidance. And that person, fit the profile 98%. So I was like, this person may be avoidant. This person may not be emotionally available. And it didn't seem that way at first. So very much, a kind of you're paying for one thing and you're getting another. And truth be told, I can't blame that person because they have their own wounds. They have their own, traumas and things going on. However, there were some things that I should have paid attention to. There were some signs. There were some things he told me very directly, and I did not pay attention, or I did not, really take it to heart and then, exit stage left. I eventually did after having a hard conversation, an honest conversation, and he was honest with me. And I said, okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate your honesty, because there are men that would have told me what I wanted to hear to keep me around, to string me along. And I appreciate you not doing that. And as hard as this is, for me to leave this and walk away from it, I know it's what's best. And so that was a mutual conversation that we had. There was just kind of a mutual understanding that, okay, I probably, can't get my needs met here, and he probably can't meet my needs. So, we kind of both agreed to that. And it's been hard. It's been hard navigating that. It really, really has. I was very disappointed. This is someone I thought, I had a lot in common with. I thought we were a great team. Yeah. However, it doesn't always work out. We find out things about people or about ourselves, and it just doesn't work out. And so I've been kind of doing that work within that container of that relationship. And that definitely, that took my focus away from my podcast, my YouTube channel. Still been doing a lot of content over on Instagram, but not as much because, like I said, I had been pulling back because of this desire at the beginning of the year to just, stop focusing on what I didn't want and focusing on what I wanted. And there's a lot of negativity on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. There's a lot of negativity in the world, period. And so you must be intentional. You got to be real intentional to stay positive. Like I am now, and I'm not a big journaler. I tell clients to journal. I'm not a big journaler. I'm going to be honest. I like writing, in terms of like writing books and things, but I don't like pen to paper. I don't like journaling. But I have picked up journaling again. I have picked up, my meditative practice. I have picked up my affirmations. I have picked up all of the things that put me in a really positive, good headspace. And so my goal is to take those things with me through this year and really start making some positive changes. Again, first in myself, getting more securely attached. That is my goal, is to get more securely attached, because I believe once I'm there, I'm not going to find people who are insecurely attached attractive. Like I'm just going to be like, oh no, I'm getting close. I notice that I am, in fact, getting closer to being securely attached, because even in this relationship, I was able to stand up for myself. I was able to state what my needs were. I was able to set boundaries. I was vulnerable. I mean, it took a few months, but I was vulnerable. I was open, and I'm proud of myself for that. Like I am really proud of the work that I did within this container. I'm very, very proud. And that work is going to continue, and then it will go on to the next container. But one of the things I realized about myself, and I've always shared this with you all, is that if you don't give up, you will win. My grandfather used to say, if you persist, you will win. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that. I've also been going through some professional struggles, some business struggles. My private practice has come very close to shutting down after not being paid by the insurance company for over 7 months. So for 7 months, I have not received a payment from the insurance company for all of the clients that I saw. And that put me in a huge financial bind. I mean, my practice is hanging on by a thread right now as I speak these words. And so that means I had bills to pay in my business. I had personal bills. I could not pay myself. I could not, pay my personal bills. That was a huge financial hardship, and still is. To this day, I am still fighting the insurance company for those payments. And I've gotten a reporter involved, a local reporter. I've called, I've emailed, I've just done everything I know how to do. I've turned it over to my God, to some extent, because I was just getting more and more frustrated by this process. And just a lot of things have kind of been going south, that then put me in a dark spiral. I was spiraling down, all kinds of things. I totaled my car in December. Our heating system went out. One thing after the other. Just one thing after the other. My daughter was having some challenges. Her tire blew out. She got sick. Got COVID in December. December was like the worst month ever. It was truly the worst month ever. And I couldn't bring anything positive to anyone because I was not in a positive space at all. And January wasn't a whole lot better, I had a good birthday, but it really, wasn't a whole lot better. February got a little bit better, but again, still in financial hardship. My practice is hanging on by a thread. I'm picking up consulting work. I'm picking up other work here and there just to keep my head above water. I'm growing more and more burnt out. And, just struggles. Life struggles. And one of the things I used to say to myself throughout this whole time was, hey, it's just your turn. It's just your turn. You're not special. It's going to rain on the just and the unjust. And it's just your turn. But thank God, but God, as they say, God. And so just keep doing what you know to do. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and pray. I pray daily. I pray hourly, depending on the day. I process my emotions. I noticed in this month that I needed to have a cathartic processing of my emotions. And that is nothing more than just letting out the pain, letting out the anger, screaming, crying, yelling, throwing things that are safe to throw, hitting things that are safe to hit. But getting it out of you. Don't push it down. It has to come out of you so you can be lighter and feel better. Like, I don't get the point of holding in the pain and the frustration and the anger and the loneliness and the hurt. Like, there's no point in doing that. You've got to let it out. And so what I tend to do is I schedule these cathartic moments. It's very rare that I have one that is not scheduled. I'm pretty good about managing and regulating my emotions. And so I just schedule it to this is the day that I'm going to have this moment. I'm going to listen to a sad song or watch a sad movie, and I'm just going to let it out. You've got to do that. And then I reach for my coping tools. I reach for things that make me feel good. I laugh. That's my number one coping tool is laughter. And so I reach for that, things that are funny, things that are lighthearted. I love being out in nature. So many things. But take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And if you're going through it right now, I'm in a place finally today where I can encourage you. I want to encourage you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Reach out to people. I have reached out to people. I kid y'all not. In the last 7 months, I have reached out to people I haven't talked to in years and asked them to pray for me, asked them how they were doing. Just people that I know and love God, and they pray and they're good people. I was like, hey, I know we ain't talked in years, but I just need you to pray for me. And I want to just check in on you. Is there something I can pray for you about? People I just met that I don't even know that well, I've asked them to pray for me. Like, you've got to get out of this prideful state and you've got to reach out to people. One of the things that is so sad about where we are right now in society, we have this toxic independence, this toxic autonomy, and this toxic self-love, this selfishness that says it's all about you. Worry about yourself. Focus on yourself. Well, no, we need people. We were not created to do that. We are tribal people. We need to talk about our problems and talk about our pain and reach out and get a hug and get an encouraging word. That's what keeps us going. But this idea of just isolating yourself is dangerous. It's dangerous, and it's leading people down a very dangerous path of destruction, of harming themselves. No, you've got to reach out. I've done nothing but reach out. I've done nothing but talk to everybody I know about how I'm feeling, what's going on in my life. There was a time a few weeks ago where I just wanted to run away. I kid you not. I was going to pack up a bunch of clothes in my car and my blow-up mattress, and I was going to run away. I kid you not. And I was going to blow that mattress up and put those seats down in the back of my truck. And just wherever I landed, after I was done driving, I was going to sleep in my truck and get up the next day and, find a place to shower or eat something and just keep on going. I literally thought about running away. But here is what God revealed to me. He said, Anita, okay, you going to get in your car and run away, and you taking you with you. Like, you taking whatever you got on your heavy on your heart or your head, it's going with you. It's going with you. Yeah, you're in a new place. You may be in a warmer place or a better looking place. But the pain, everything that's inside of you, the frustration, the hurt, the anger, it's in you. You can't leave that behind because you're taking you. So just sit down, sit your behind down, deal with it. Get yourself together. Okay, get in the word, pray, talk to me every day. Reach out to people, process your emotions, and focus on what's positive. Focus on what's going right. Focus on what's going right. That was it. That was our whole conversation, he and I. And he was like, no, you can't do that. You have to focus on where you're at right now. It's not going to last. God has always told me that it's temporary. It's temporary. And I'm like, temporary, like 7 months? Because it's been 7 months. So that's a long temporary. He's like, it's temporary. So do the things you know to do and keep putting one foot in front of the other. If you do not give up, you will win. That's what he told me. And I know that to be true. But I can also own the fact that it gets hard. It gets difficult. It gets heavy. It weighs you down. And when it starts pulling you down and weighing you down, once you get under that water, you panic. You panic. You like, I don't know when my next breath is coming. But he's like, nope. Just, I need you to hang in there. It's temporary. It's like the circle. First you're up and then you're going to go down. And how long you stay down, get your mind right. Get your mind right. You focused on this 3D world. You focused on what you're seeing versus what's out there in the spiritual world, what's coming or what is here. And that's what I've been working on doing. So I'm back. I will create content every week. Remember, the podcast will come out every other week. And I do have new guests that I'm working on. I'm going to be talking with one on Friday and talking with another one hopefully next week. I have new guests that I'm working on getting on the podcast. If you know of someone you'd like to be on the podcast or you'd like for me to interview, please put it in the comments. I can reach out to that person. There's lots of big people that I've already reached out to over and over and over. I'll keep trying in my hopes to get, these folks on the podcast. But keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep looking up. That's what I do. When I go outside for my 2 and 3 mile walks, I'm getting ready for the marathon in April, the 10K. But when I go outside in the first thing in the morning, the first thing I do is look up. I look up. And it is a constant reminder to me, look up. Okay? Look up because that's where you're going. You're going up. Don't look down. You're going up. Keep your head up and keep reaching for the things that make you feel good. Do that work. Feel your feelings. Y'all, I can't say this enough. You have to feel your feelings. You have to process your feelings. You cannot push your feelings down. You're not doing yourself any favors by doing that. You have to feel your feelings. And like I said, I get in my feelings, y'all. I am physically in pain. My chest hurts. My throat hurts. I am physically in pain when I have to feel my feelings. My head hurts. I feel dizzy. I lay down. But one of the things I'm proud of myself of, I didn't reach for any negative coping mechanisms, anything from my past. I didn't reach for any of that. I didn't buy anything. That was one of my very negative coping mechanisms. I would just go to a store and walk around and buy stuff. Because in that moment, it made me feel better. I did not do that. I did not do that. I said, nope, I did not do that. I'm not buying anything. I'm not drinking anything. Y'all know I don't drink. I'm not smoking anything. I'm not having sex with anybody. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to feel my feelings. I'm going to journal. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. And I can't meditate more than 10 minutes. I've spoken on that. I'm not a long meditator, but for 10 minutes, I can sit in silence. I can be quiet. I can let my mind go crazy, and then try to quiet my mind, and then it's over. But I have just focused on, watching my church sermon and, reaching for things that are positive and saying words that are positive. And here's the thing you need to know about this whole, affirmations and trying to manifest something good is what you're saying is not going to match what you're seeing. I cannot say that enough. It's not going to match. You're trying to pull it out of the ether with your words. But keep going. Keep going. Those of you who are looking for a healthy relationship, myself included, I have to say things like, I am always attracting good, kind, intelligent, attractive, emotionally available men in my city and beyond. I am the best option a man could have. I am loving. I am supportive. Men are falling over themselves to try to gain my attention, to try to be with me. I have lots of great options, lots of wonderful men that I could love and be attracted to. Like I have to say the thing I want to be true. And I need you to do the same. Because a lot of people, a lot of coaching clients that I've been working with over the last 3 months, they are sabotaging themselves. They don't realize that's what they're doing, but they're sabotaging their results. Every session is about what they see and what's going on out here in this world. And I just keep telling them, is that what you want? No. Then stop talking about it. Stop looking at it. Stop following these accounts. Stop following these people that are talking about the same negative thing. You have to be willing to put that down. You have to change your vibrational frequency. That's what I'm working on. I'm trying to go up, not down. So, yeah, you got to start saying what you want to see. And it's going to feel crazy at first because you're like, wow, that's not my reality at all. There are no options. Nobody is, trying to get with me or, I'm not having success in this area. Keep going. The law of assumption says that if we write it out exactly as we wish it to be and say it exactly as we wish it to be, it will align. That is what it is. That or something better. So add that, this or something better. Okay? I hope this encouraged you. It encouraged me. Just sitting here talking encouraged me. It really did. It's making me feel a whole lot better. I am here in any way that I can be for you to help you with any of this. I am here for you. If you're a couple, if you're a single, I am here. My coaching services are down below. You can go to my website, www.betterlovemovement.com, click on services. There are my coaching services. I'm going to be having a sale in the month of April. Coaching services will be 50% off. It does not get any better than that. 50% off of coaching services coming in the month of April. I'm going to release it on April Fools, but it is not an April Fool's joke. And do the work. Do the work necessary. And like I said, ladies, if you're stuck in this stage of healing where you haven't been out dating, where you haven't been in a relationship in a long time, it's time. It's time. You have to do the work within the container of dating or in a relationship, because you can only go so far by yourself. That's it. You must get out there and get triggered. You must get out there and make mistakes and then course correct those mistakes and then try again. Because like I said, anybody can sit in their home and talk about how healed and whole they are and how good they feel, because ain't nobody in there with you. Ain't nobody triggering you. Ain't nobody, doing anything to you. Anybody can do that. You've got to get out there. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. It's going to be a good ride this year. It's going to be a really good ride. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to stay hopeful. It is my intention to keep inspiring you to keep going. I'm going to release some podcast episodes that are full of affirmations that you can listen to. I'm going to release some podcast episodes that are sleep meditations. I'm actually working on my first 8-hour sleep meditation that I want to release on YouTube that will help you get your mind, your state of mind, and your vibrational frequency higher so you can attract the things that you want to show up in your life. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for more guests, having more fun, more topics to discuss. Check me out on Instagram. Everywhere you go, my platform is Better Love Movement. Everywhere. So my website, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything is called Better Love Movement. So check it out. I thank you so much for listening to this episode, especially if you made it to the end. Thank you. And as always, stay open to love. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Better Love Movement podcast. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, please do so now so that you can be alerted every Monday when a new episode comes out. Please rate and review this podcast, as your ratings help me to grow the podcast and offer more free content to you. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up and share it if it brought you value. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the show, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also reach me on my website, www.betterlovemovement.com, to get more information on love mentoring and other services offered. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, stay open to love.